We are taking it to the, well, not really the streets, but we're taking it to the long and windy course of Cota. Well, the short version, of course, as we get ready for the Circuit of the Americas weekend for the Cup in the O'Reilly Series. The trucks are in St. Pete, which that's a whole different situation, which talk a little bit about, but not too much. However, we are, in this particular case, going to be talking a little bit about Cota, since it's that weekend. So, before we do, make sure to like the video, subscribe, all that jazz. Let's dive into Cota. The race is 95 laps. It so happens here. 95 laps with stage breaks at the 20 lap and 45 lap marks. And the fuel runs, they go 23 to 26 laps. So we're not going to get a true green flag pit stop until stage 3. Unless the caution falls in the right spot. Which it could. Is it? Probably not. So more than likely we're going to have green flag pit stops. So we have 50 laps. I mean, you don't have a whole lot of strategy here other than you can't really short pit because the fuel run is right at the halfway mark. So unfortunately, there isn't any strategy to be had in this race. It is fairly cut and dry on what you can and can't do. As, like I said, the fuel run's halfway. It's not, there's just not enough wiggle room to pit early, go long. So we'll be seeing pit stops between lap 70 and 75 of the green flag pit stops. I mean, I guess if you can short pit that lap early, depending on what kind of situation you're in, because the Delta is going to play a little bit of a role here. But you also got to find that gap on the way out. So, I guess there's your strategy, I guess. Try to time out the Delta properly and be able to come out with clean air and green track to run. But, I mean, if you got a strong car, you're going to be able to overcome that. So, okay, so the strategy part did not take as long as I thought it was going to. Shoot. Like, Cota is a prime example on why the stages are absolutely horrific. There is essentially no strategy to be had here. I mean, it's all cut and dry. Pitting at the stage breaks, and you're pitting halfway through. There's just no wiggle room there. You're taking out an entire half of a race. An entire half of a component that makes up a great race. And that's the strategy. Because under normal circumstances, when you got 95 laps, you're looking at 4 pit stops. You could be doing 5. There'd be enough wiggle room there to do that 5th. But, I mean, it's just insane. And unless you're desperate for points, and nobody's really desperate for points right now because we're only in race 3, you're going to make that pit stop at 17, and then you're going to make it last the rest of the way. That way you can come in before 2 to go mark. And, yeah. So, phooey. Oh, phooey. Well, let's take a look at the standings, though. Since we're here, obviously Tyler Reddick is your championship leader as it sits right now. with 125 points. Bubba Wallace moving up 6 spots from Daytona to sit second. So you got 23-11 sitting 1-2. You have Chase Elliott sitting nice and calmly in third. Carson Hocevar riding fourth. Thane Smith is fifth in the point standings. Then you got Logano. You got Suarez in the 7. Blaney, Keselowski, Buescher, Ross Chastain, Noah Gragson, William Byron, Ryan Preece, Chase Briscoe, Shane Van Gisbergen with what at least was his best finish on an oval at that point, and I think it is. He 6th. I mean, so good for him. Briscoe, Shane, and that is where we cut off for the chase. And then we have Ty Dillon, AJ, John Hunter, Michael McDowell, Kyle Larson, Stenhouse, Herbst, Busch, Perry, Cindric, Hamlin, Ware, Jones, Custer, Christopher Bell. Holy. Bell, Bowman, Gibbs, Dillon, Gilliland, Zilich, Mears, and BJ McLeod. Obviously, this is going to be a much better weekend for Connor Zilich, as he is the only person to beat SVG at a road course in a heads-up manner. Granted, Tyler Reddick did win at Cota last 2 years, I believe. I think you got 2 straight wins here. Oh, it was Bell, but Reddick did get a victory in 2023. So Bell won it last year. Reddick won it in 23. So we'll be looking in that direction. He could be pulling off a three-peat. He has been very, very good here. He is a very talented road course driver, and that kind of gets forgotten. But there's another name that you might want to take a look out. You might want to look out for, at least for this race. Not SVG. AJ is the obvious one. Daniel Suarez is a pretty okay. But the name that you want to look out for is going to be Ty Gibbs. He has come so close to winning at road courses. If only SVG stayed in Australia, we'd probably be seeing Ty Gibbs as a Cup Series winner at this point. But, hey, it hasn't happened yet. But look out for Ty Gibbs. I think he's going to have himself a really good day. He might have himself a really good finish if he's, able to finish. That's my dark horse, but I'm going to go with a hot hand here. I'm going to say Tyler Reddick goes on and three-peats and starts the season as hot as anybody has ever started in modern NASCAR history. Let's see. NASCAR drivers to win the first first 3 races. Let's see. This little article should tell us 1967, winning 7 times, including in a row. Blah, blah. I not counting that. All right, so no. All right, so it's never been done before. So it would be the hottest start in the history of NASCAR if my prediction comes true. But give me Tyler Reddick. Go 3 for 3 in the 2026 NASCAR season. Really good here. Really good last year. He was good the year. He was lights out the year before. Give me Reddick to pull off the win. So that's my guess for that. As far as, let's see, who in the hell could possibly? Anyway, whatever. Entry list. Here we go. That's what. Okay. Why not? Here we go. Let's see. Any Josh Bilicki in the 07. Oh, SVG in the 9. Let's see here. Chastain in the 32, but that's not gonna move the needle. Just kind of looking to see if anybody is doing remotely interesting. Oh, Zilich, he's in the 1. So, okay. So Zilich in the 1, SVG in the 9. I've Justin Allgaier. He's a good road course racer himself. So, but I'm gonna go with Zilich here. I'm gonna go with Zilich on the upset. Zilich with the upset, and then, well, I don't know how much of an upset it would be in the Xfinity series, but or O'Reilly series, but I'm gonna take Zilich to outduel SVG, and then as far as the Cup series, I will say I think we get a top 5 out of Zilich, and I think we get a top 5 out of Ty Gibbs. And I think we're gonna see a nice little duel between all 4, between Reddick, Zilich, and SVG, and Ty Gibbs. So give me those 4 to finish in the top 5, and for 5th, we'll say Chase Elliott. Sure, we'll go with that one. So that is your racing preview, and as many as people as are annoyed with all the courts going on, yeah, NASCAR is back in session, fresh off the lawsuit between 2311 and the Front Row versus NASCAR. We now have Spire and JGR going at it. So, there is a hearing, and this would be for later today by the time I post this, that there was a hearing at 1 p.m., and JGR, Joe Gibbs Racing, is requesting a temporary restraining order to keep Chris Gabhardt, who was very high ranking in JGR, from working at Spire until this whole thing is done. So I'll be interested to see exactly all that happens, because this is so far and away above my head. But anyway, Chris Gabhardt said Wednesday legal filing lawsuit against him by former employer Joe Gibbs Racing isn't about protecting trade secrets, but instead punishing a former employee for daring to leave. Now, I know about a year and a half ago, somewhere in that ballpark, non-compete clauses were pretty much deemed illegal for most of your traditional non-compete clauses. I don't know if this would be a part of it, but I do understand where JGR is coming from. I understand where Chris Gabhardt is coming from. So, uh, I I I, re- I am a little disappointed because there shouldn't be that much crossover to where JGR is concerned about Chris Gabehart because it's a Chevy and a Toyota. There shouldn't be that much transfer. I guess somewhat in the chassis, but the chassis would be different because the noses are a little bit different. So the car is going to act differently. So, I mean, let me continue on here. And while seeming less consequential on the merits of the lawsuit itself, Gabehart also revealed his reason for leaving Joe Gibbs Racing in the first place by citing a culture of dysfunction with driver Ty Gibbs at the center of the tension. Ty Gibbs is the grandson of team owner Joe Gibbs and fourth-year driver of the number 54 Toyota. Joe Gibbs Racing sued Chris Gabehart last week, seeking damages of over $8 million for allegedly embarking on a brazen scheme to steal JGR's most sensitive data and take it with him to Spire Motorsports, which hired him last week as crew chief or as chief motorsports officer. JGR amended the suit to include Spire as a defendant on Tuesday. Prior to joining Spire, Gabehart spent a lot of years with Joe Gibbs. And yeah, I mean, he's pretty much saying that Joe Gibbs is playing favorites with his grandson. And I mean, at this point, Ty Gibbs has shown he is not ready for Cup. I mean, I know I talked him up at Cota, but the reality is he shouldn't be going for his first win still at this point. Chase Elliott, William Byron, we'll see very soon, and I think we could see it as early as this year. Connor Zilich, but we won't use him. But Elliott, Zilich, or Elliott, Byron, who are some other drivers that have broken through? Larson, even though Larson broke in a little earlier, but the learning curve from the O'Reilly Series to Cup is now about 3 years removed, is when you should be hunting for that first win. And Ty Gibbs is nowhere near it. With Chase Elliott, I mean, the heartbreaks were documented before that first win. They were very well documented. Heartbreak in Dover, here, there, all over the place. Blaney, took him about 3 years to get that first win. I think about 2.5. But, I mean, we are now in year 4. We're not seeing much improvement year over year. He wasn't even close to making the playoffs a year ago. So, and right now, I think he's... Where is he now? Right now, he's 33rd of 38 drivers. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I mean, this is a make it or break it year for Ty Gibbs. Shouldn't be sitting in 33rd in your 4th year of a car with the caliber of Joe Gibbs Racing. Shouldn't be happening. Now, obviously, Denny Hamlin, he had a rough couple of weeks. But is anybody really concerned about Denny? Nope. Because he's been there and he's done it 60 times, I want to say. So, I mean, I get both sides of the argument. I do. How this is going to turn out, I have no idea. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to pretend to be a lawyer. I just know. I just don't know that NASCAR is still in session. So, St. Petersburg is the where the truck race is taking place. That, I think, is going to be a disaster. Yeah. I mean, street courses, they are for IndyCar, they're for Formula 1. Not so much NASCAR. These cars are not quite as nimble, they don't have the capability of turning as well. You have the choose cone, so to speak, after turn 9. And you can try to ask me who's going to win. I'm not going to have a very good answer for you. Get an entry list. Now for the trucks. Let's see. Oh, we got Dario Franchitti. That's going to be interesting. Nope. I mean, I could see Dario Franchitti, if he figures out this truck quickly, I could see him making a little bit of noise. Justin Haley, he's experienced. He's got a lot of years under his belt. Daniel Hemrick. I mean, this truck race is going to be one for the guys that have experience. Just experience in general. Chandler Smith. I would expect him to be around. James Hinchcliffe. He's gonna be there. Hinchcliffe, for those who don't know, he was an IndyCar driver. And obviously, if you don't know Dario Franchitti, where the hell have you been? He is a former IndyCar champion, Indy 500 champion. So it's going to be a matter of, can Dario or Hinch figure this truck out quick enough? Adam Andretti. There's another Andretti? Holy crap. Holy crap. Okay. Did not see that one coming. That was a pleasant surprise. But yeah, in this, I would expect Justin Haley, Chandler Smith, Stuart Friesen, he's been around a long time. Majeski, Christian Eckes, Ben Rhodes. I would expect them to jump out to a pretty nice lead. If Dario and Hinch can kind of figure themselves out, then we might see them begin to get reeled in. And Grant Enfinger, too. I would expect him to make a little bit of noise. So, let's get like a layout. St. Petersburg course. Layout. All right, so that's about what it looks like. Let's see. So you got the long straight, and then you have a right-hand turn, going through some S's, long straight into 4, a little bit of a hard right into 4, little bit of a carousel, and a couple of hard rights through 8 and 9. Long run with a little bit of a curve. Might be a blind corner. Into 11, hard braking. Get the little horseshoe. style, almost hairpin turn, and come down to the straight. So, I don't know. I'm very skeptical with stock cars on street courses. Chicago, it had its moments, but overall, it wasn't that great. Obviously, we'll be getting one in San Diego. What's it going to look like? Who knows? But if NASCAR was smart, they would do something very close to a Monza type, or I guess it'd be called the short layout for Bahrain. It's very close to a oval, but there's a couple lefts and rights, so it's not technically an oval. So obviously, who knows? Who knows what they're gonna do? But I have absolutely no faith in that. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But yeah. So all right, that's all I got for today on the newly branded Hildreth Motorsports. For those, well, we'll get into that. We'll get into that some other time. But until then, see you in the next one.